Hey, folks, welcome to Weekend Technical Analysis Update by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. This video for Monday, April 16th, 2012 through Friday, April 20th, 2012 is brought to you by Realtek. All right, let's get right into the mix, folks. Looking back at last week, it was an unbelievably volatile week. We had earnings, we had stuff coming out from Europe, we had issues out of China. It was all thrown into the mix and created up and down 100-point days almost every single day of the week. And this was the beauty of what's happening here, folks. This is the downward move of the cycle that we have talked about, that we called to our members a few weeks ago, and it has played out precisely as we thought it would. Let me explain a little bit about this, because the cycles, let's be honest, I mean, that's where you make the big money. If you can nail an exact top in a market or a definite bottom, that's where you ultimately will make the biggest money of the year during that period. And going back previously to the cycle call, this is exactly what we said to our premium members. And if you're a premium member, you're essentially a member of the Research Center at InTheMoneyStocks.com or the Intraday Stock Chat. All right, Stock Chat is obviously geared towards more day traders and those that want constant intraday analysis, while the Research Center is more to people that are working, have a 9-to-5 job. They can't be in front of the computer every single second of the day. Therefore, they're looking for the swing trade calls, the nightly market analysis, the videos, daily market reports, hot charts and alerts, everything that is included inside of the Research Center. And there's a 7-day free trial to both. All right, so you can take one or the other 7-day free trial, or take them both and try them out for yourself. But bottom line is, this cycle call was made right over here. And essentially, when we said there's a cycle here going on, we said it's going to happen like this. A rounded top, which is distribution, where institutions unload into the retail investor who's been hyped into the market. And after that happens, you will then see the market collapse downward. Well, right here is your perfect rounded top. Round, pullback, round, pullback, round, pullback, and then the breakdown occurs. And notice how you had a major shift in momentum in the market right as the cycle date was given to our members here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. If you go back here, folks, I mean, look at this market. Going back to essentially December, this was a vertical market. There was no pausing, there was no pullback, there was nothing. And then finally you got it into this upper range, and all of a sudden there's a major change in character where the market goes up and down and just can't really push higher, making higher highs, but you can actually connect the higher highs 1 to 2, and then you get your third pivot. And right here, this is where I gave out my call, saying the market would collapse off of this. It did. Then we got a beautiful in spirit of bearish pattern. Bearish patterns are extremely important to understand and see, as they give you the ultimate signal of the next move. In this case, obviously a bearish pattern to the downside. Notice how every other time we hit this lower green line, you bounced up. So it was a very obvious signal here that there was something different. There was something brewing right here because you didn't bounce up. Market tried and failed, kept on hitting that line, and that's telling you it's going to break down. Market breaks down, our shorts that we had accumulated over this period start to turn into major profits. We're in the profit on majority of them at this point with break-even stops, so we can't take losses on them. That's Money Management 101. If you don't have that discipline, if you don't go by that Money Management 101, you will ultimately never succeed in this business. It is unbelievably important. We will give you the criteria. We will give you the strategies. We will give you that discipline. If you abide by our disciplinarian methodology, you will become a success in swing trading, investing, day trading, whatever you do. All right, bottom line is, this last week market collapsed Monday, Tuesday, big bounce on Wednesday and Thursday. Not surprising, though. All right, if you think about it like this, folks, you still have that retail buy the dip mentality because of how much pumping the media has done. The analysts have upgraded all these stocks at ridiculous levels. I mean, Apple, when it got to 600, was getting upgraded. I mean, where were the upgrades when it was $400 at the beginning of the year? I mean, that's just ridiculous in my book. And the fact is, those upgrades coax the retail investor into the market. It's a scam. I mean, it's ultimately such the shady operation. But once you know it's a shady operation, you go the opposite. All right? My members know, as these stocks are at these meteoric levels, that's where we're looking to go short. When you get the master level, when you understand the master level. Okay, so bottom line is, market collapses early in the week, big bounce on the buy the dip mentality, and then again on Friday we see a major drop. I love it to see it at the end of the day. The reason for the drop late in the end of the day, no one wanted to hold over the weekend with what's going on in Europe. All right, Spanish yields, Italian yields are spiking. It looks like they're going to all need another bailout. We knew this was coming. I mean, I've told my members for months now that eventually you're going to need all these countries, Ireland, Spain, Portugal, Italy. They're all going to need bailouts just like Greece got. The only difference is these are bigger economies. So Greece is relatively small compared to Italy, Spain, and some of these other ones. And that's where it's going to be very interesting to see how these yields go on. Well, as these yields increase, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the euro. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the economy in Europe. And ultimately, they'll have to get some sort of package deal done again before the markets ultimately have a major crash scenario. And they'll do it eventually, but I still think there's more downside in this market with big bounces along the way because you're still going to have the buy the dip mentality in there. All right, but bottom line is there's a no hype live broadcast. If you're a Research Center member, folks, twice a week you get live 1 hour broadcasts from myself and my other chief market strategist here, Nick Santiago, who will answer questions, show our live charts. We'll go over trades for the setups for the week. You will be ready to rock and roll. That's part of the Research Center. You also get, obviously, the hot charts and alerts with trade alerts all week long. You get the technical analysis videos every single night, which are 30 minutes approximately in length, and much, much more. It's all included in that Research Center. I do suggest you take that 7-day free trial to try it out. The key with the 7-day free trial is as long as you cancel before the end of the 7 days, you're not charged. So if you don't like it, if you don't make money, cancel it. No skin off our backs, we understand, but ultimately pretty much everyone makes money if they follow our methodology. So that's the beauty of it. All right, so in any case, market collapses here towards the end of Friday with a nice down day. Notice the bear flag, another bear flag. This is a change in character we've seen in the markets. All right, so we've seen essentially a market that a month ago or 2 months ago, bearish flag patterns and bearish patterns were failing because the market just had that buy the dip, go crazy, just buy everything mentality. And now ultimately we're seeing the buy, the dip not working anymore. Now you're seeing bear flags actually play out with a very good consistent rate. And sure enough, on Friday, there was no difference. Your levels to watch. These are your levels going into next week, all right, going into Monday. Obviously, the pivot low right here is going to be important, and we'll watch to see if we gap below that or stay above that on Monday morning. That's at 136.75. If you get through that, watch this pivot low here. This is going to be the big one. The pivot low right here at a Pierce of 136, around 135.80 on the SPY, which mirrors the S&P 500. That's the big level. Let me tell you why. Why would this be the big level? Think about it for a second. I'll give you the answer. The reason why this is the big level is because it was the low from last week before they surged the markets huge. If you take this out, technically a lot of bullish players are going to be very scared, and you'll see an extra wave down in the market. All right, so this, out of so far what we're seeing here, this first level, these are just minor bounce levels. I mean, here's a minor level, here's a minor level. This one's your big level because psychologically it will hurt the bull case, and you'll have a lot of bulls get very, very scared. If you take that out, my guess is markets are going all the way down here this week. Okay? So again, that's your level to watch. Very key gap fill. As you can see, that's why the market bounced there. That's at 135.80. If on a closing intraday basis or a closing daily basis you get below that, look for a sharp sell-off all the way to about 134.25.30. In which case you'll get another huge bounce in my opinion. But again, that's basically $3 down from current levels if we got there this week. All right, so again, China did have some news over the weekend we want to mention, which was loosening the yuan trade, essentially their currency against the U.S. dollar. It's supposedly meant to help their economy get back on its feet. I don't think it's enough. I think the market would have liked to have seen stronger action. It's obviously a small helping hand, but I don't think it's going to be a big enough indicator or a big enough effort to really make the markets bounce at all. We'll watch the futures tonight. Again, it's all about Europe right now. Okay, and again, look back at the market. Really amazing action. You actually may have a little bit of a head and shoulder pattern here too, which we can note. You have the shoulder right here, a big head right up here, and now another shoulder here, which in this case, this would be your neckline. So we'll also have to keep track of that as we come down. Notice how that level is essentially the same level right here. So, I mean, this is a major pivot point, which would obviously dictate a move down here, possibly even lower. Going into this week, it's Options X week. That's going to be volatile. All right. In addition, you have tons of earnings. We got Google, we got JP Morgan, we got Wells Fargo last week, we got Alcoa. But essentially, this week we'll have even more major earnings coming out. The market's going to be looking. So far, earnings have been decent, but the market had factored them in and then some. I mean, if we look at JP Morgan's chart or Google's chart, I mean, all these stocks have rallied up so much that there's no way that they can really sustain, unless they're going to blow earnings out of the park by a zillion% almost. There's no real way they can sustain their levels. All right. So again, yes, the earnings were not horrible, but they weren't spectacular either. And again, prices of these stocks have run up so much in the last 3-4 months that they can't sustain that run. And that's why you saw JPM come down, you saw Wells Fargo come down, Google came down sharply as well, and all that stuff. And again, I still think many stocks are overpriced slightly, although not as much as they were after the last week's sell. All right, guys. Again, options X week. It's going to be a fun one. There are going to be many trades this week. Day trading is going to be awesome. It was awesome last week. We just rocked it big time in the intraday stock chat, and also swing trading, folks. I mean, this is again, if we get this another kind of volatile week, there should be some great trade setups. I got some long ideas on stocks. I got some short ideas on stocks. I'll be putting them out. There are some things I'm watching very closely. So come here to inthemoneystocks.com. Join us here. 7-day free trial. Take it, rock it, succeed in trading, learn the methodology, and become a king amongst all your other trading friends or family or even the institutions. We'll teach you stuff that will make you better than the institutions, folks. There's a reason why we're nailing every bottom and top in the market here while institutions are getting whipped in and out. All right, take care, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. I will see you at inthemoneystocks.com.